Whoops. Hi, happy Sunday. It's the 16th of August. Ooh, time is going so fast right now. How are you doing emotionally? Now, a lot of people are saying that it's just really, this COVID is really stressing them out, especially since we haven't had a slowdown in COVID like the rest of the world in different parts of the world. I mean, they had a slowdown. Some places didn't get it as bad because they took precautions right away, and they've been able to open back up pretty much and still, keep some of the social distancing and stuff because other parts of the world are having a second wave. But we haven't even finished our first wave here in the United States, and people are predicting a second wave coming around. So it's like, yeah. As I told my friend in Canada, I was like, yeah, we're a country of spoiled brats here in the U.S. It's against my rights to wear a mask. It's like, oh, grow up. You're in the north. In 2-3 months, you're going to have your face wrapped up with a scarf. So shut up. Wear your freaking mask. um, and nobody wants to social distance. It's just getting ridiculous. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. What I wanted to talk to you about today, and that's about something that I had an aha moment. An aha moment. See, I was trained scientifically. I mean, I love chemistry, biology, physics. And I'm okay with some of the advanced maths, um, physiognomy, all that sort of stuff. I really get into all that. I've always really liked that stuff. And some of the technical stuff I kind of get into too. But my schooling, my education wise, and all that, race was scientifically proven back in the 1800s. And when people start talking about race and stuff now, I tend to get a little confused. It's like, what's going on? Well, I saw a YouTube video, a very short one. It's called Useful Charts is the name of the channel. And the man does all sorts of family um, trees, and he's got like the heads of Europe and their descendants, and it's all kind of interesting and a lot of history in there. And he collaborates with other channels where they're doing similar subjects and of what he's doing a chart on, so he gets a little more information about the regions and stuff like that. And it's very interesting. He just did one on, I was saying Camilla, but I think it's Kamala or something. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce her. Harris, who's Joe Biden's pick for vice president, which I was shocked that he picked her because they tend to bang heads, but I like her. And I know she said in something that she's half Asian, half Native American, half African American, half Asian. So I kind of looked it up, and her mother comes from India, a section of India. India, it was just kind of interesting because this young man who does this channel said, well, India is actually a continent, and yeah, it's a subcontinent, is what some people call it. What I was raised to believe it as, but it's like different countries in that, but we think of it as the country India. But it's kind of like Africa, where it's a continent and a bunch of countries in there. But somehow or other, it ended up being just India. Anyway, she's from a certain area in the southern region. Her mother's parents were, one was a professor. Oh, I can't remember what. Her father was a professor. I can't remember what her mother was now. But they obviously were well regarded, and that's how she was able to come to the United States and study post grad and all that sort of stuff. She's a very smart woman. And Camilla speaks out and says that she's African American. She relates more to that part of her heritage, but she um, was raised in both, and she's Christian, and But it was kind of interesting because this young man who does the channel went into race and what it was, and that's how I was raised in believing the old way of doing this. And I shouldn't say raised, but well, my mom was a science, was grounded in science as well. She went to pre med, so race to us meant, you know, that it could be genetically proven that you're from this area, blah blah blah. And now it's something very different. It's with the DNA. It's with the DNA test. They're finding that race really isn't what we thought it was. And you got to remember when we first started when people first started talking about race back in the 1800s, they didn't have DNA tests. Well, I'm sure they talked about race. If you read the Bible, they talk about race like that tribe and that tribe, even though they're distant cousins, they're two different, you know, they almost talk like they're two different races, two different people. So it's like, okay, so it's been ambiguity. I can't say that word now. Anyways, it's kind of been fluctuating throughout history, and it kind of got stuck. And I can understand that now because the people who decided that race was boom, boom, boom back in the 1800s were white men. And it kind of got stuck there. And in this YouTube that I was watching about Kamala Harris, the young man said, you know, race is now more of a cultural thing, or and ethnicity is more of what we used to think race was, because ethnicity, ethnicity, your DNA shows that, you know, what your areas your DNA comes from, and therefore, you know, saying that, oh, I'm white, I'm black, I'm this, I'm that. There's so much mixture in there. I know in my family we knew that my dad's grandparents came from Poland, but they were in an area of Poland where the Germans and the Russians were constantly conquering and, you know, fighting back and forth. So to have some of that mixture in there is probable. And that my mother's family, two different Native tribes, Native American tribes, we know that. We also know there's Irish and there's Welsh. One of her great grandmothers was born in Ireland. Another one was born. We're not sure she was born in Wales or she was born in Canada, because there's the four of them. They went to live with their uncles, so we don't know exactly what happened. Did their parents actually come to Canada with them, or did their parents die in Wales and they were sent to Canada? Not sure how that works, but they came down to the U. Well, the three sisters came to the U.S. I think the brother stayed up in Canada, and then also that my mother's French ancestry came through Canada as well. So, and there's still quite a few relatives up in Canada. So we knew that there was a mixture there of those countries. And but when you have the Irish, you have the Spanish Armada got defeated. A lot of the Spanish sailors ended up in Ireland, and then you also have Vikings coming through. You know, so it's like there's a bit of mixture there as well. So the race issue does get kind of fuzzy. The old-fashioned terminology from the 1800s of race has become very fuzzy. So that was an aha moment for me this morning, going, well, you know, what he just said is kind of sort of what I used to believe when I was in my 20s and 30s and first started thinking and talking and learning about race. That's the idea I had in my head when back then. But then after I, you know, with the more training and, you know, people talking about race and all that stuff, my head got turned a little bit more to where, well, you're black, you're Caucasian, or you're Asian, or you're this, or you're, you know, whatever, you know, it's black. And, you know, it's like, but if you look at the continent of Africa, you have areas where people are very black. You have people where they're more of a tan color. You have people who are much more pale. You have tall people. You have short people. You have all sorts of people there. And it's like, you know, just to say, well, they're just black. It's like, there's more going on there. Just as in Asia, there's, it's like it's all just so much more than just boom, 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 boom. So that was a big aha moment for me. It's like, whoa, when exactly did my head get spun around there? Because this is what he's saying makes a lot of sense to me. And this is what I used to believe. This is kind of what I figured out myself. Maybe God gave me the answer, gave me that answer, and I kind of blocked it out because that's, just, I don't know why. So it was a short video, but it was like a big boom, mind blowing. So I am now switching my ideas around, and hopefully that'll help me with my language, though I don't think so, because some people who are so much in the Black Lives Matter, and I don't mean to say that in a derogatory way at all, I just trying to remember the words in the right order because I'm slightly dyslexic. I have a couple a black woman that I speak to online a lot, and she goes like, she was asking people, what's the first thing you think of when you hear or see BLM? And I said, well, I'm sorry, I'm slightly dyslexic. I see BMW. Sorry about this. Give me 2 seconds. It seems no matter what I do, if I'm on a video or in a live meeting, my neighbors decide, oh, we gotta have more now. Unless that's my brother. But anyway, yeah, that was my aha moment, and I thank God for that. Because it has woken me up a little bit more to myself and the people around me, and hopefully this will help me. Oh, and as I was saying when she asked if, BLM, and I said, I always see BMW, and she laughed. She goes, that's great. That's the first time I heard anybody say that. And I was like, yeah, so when I kind of look up and I say Black Lives Matter, I'm trying to make sure I get it right. I'm not being derogatory at all. Some people, they're so steeped in it, and they're so from their fear and their anger. And if you try to say, well, black isn't really a race, if I would get on and say black isn't really a race, they would probably so yeah. Hopefully the world will wake up to realize that, yeah, we have different cultures, different languages, different skin colors, different ethnicity, but we are not boom, boom, boom. We're not black, white, Asian. There's more. So that's it for today. I hope you have a great Monday. Talk to you again soon. Bye.